What's going on, everybody? We're back on another episode of Tell Me. You already know what's going on. Yesterday, we crushed the slate again. Went 5 for 6. Technically, I had a sweep because if you guys paid attention to the video yesterday, I did say that the Heat fan in me was going to just take the Heat, but I wasn't going to bet the game, and that the Magic was probably going to win the game, and that the Magic were the smart play yesterday. But I said that, me being a biased Heat fan, I'm going to roll with the Heat, but I told you all that the Magic were probably going to win the game. So I technically did have a sweep yesterday. So if you guys just skimming through my videos and not actually listening to what I'm saying and you're just scrolling through just to see what I'm posting on the bottom, you don't know what I'm actually playing. I'm just giving you what I like, what my prediction, but doesn't mean that I'm betting it. Doesn't mean that like if you pay attention, like I said the Magic were supposed to win that game yesterday, but whatever. So Clippers covered by half a point down the stretch. They won by 11. Nuggets didn't cover the full spread, but I told you guys I was teasing it down. They did win by 9. They covered the 8.5. Same thing with the Celtics. I told you guys that if you wanted to lay it or tease it down, I teased it down. It did cover. Celtics won on the money line also. The Suns money line, I told you guys the Suns were going to win. Pacers plus 7.5 by 2 extra points. Either way, you took it. Pacers covered. They lost by 7, and the Suns won straight up. I told you guys Lakers money line or lay the points. It was a bounce back game for them, and the Lakers did get it done. Blew the doors off the Portland Trailblazers. That was yesterday. Looking to keep the ball rolling. We had 2 back-to-back sweeps. Looking to keep it going today on a money-making Monday with Matt. First game up today, we got the Bucks playing the Pistons in Detroit. We saw this game a few nights ago. The Bucks didn't cover. They only won by 6, I think it was, down the stretch. I didn't like what I saw from the Bucks. They came out. They looked really, really bad. Damian Lillard ended up dropping 45 that game, but they just didn't play any defense. 12.5 spread again tonight. And I know that everyone is going to be looking to bet the Pistons tonight plus the 12.5 because of what happened last game. I'm sure everybody's going to be all over the Pistons plus the 12.5 tonight. And I understand why. I get it. Minnesota doesn't cover on the road. And they don't even really cover at home. They're not a great cover team at all, period. I mean, they're 16-25 against the spread for the entire season. They are 8-10 against the spread on the road. While the Pistons, we already know, is the worst team in the league. But Detroit, at home, they're 7-12 against the spread. So they covered last game, Detroit, and Milwaukee didn't. Now, I peeped the patterns. These teams have met 3 times already this season. The first time that they met, the Pistons covered the spread. Milwaukee wins by 2 points. Second time they meet, Milwaukee blows the doors off of them by 32. Milwaukee covers the spread. Third time they meet was 2 days ago, and the Raptors covered that spread. Milwaukee wins by 6. Tonight, last time they're meeting, Milwaukee blows the doors off of Detroit tonight. They're gonna adjust from their mistakes from last game, and they come in here tonight and blow the doors. They run these boys out of the gym tonight, the Pistons. So Bucks money line, it's probably not paying anything, but Bucks minus the 12.5. I'm gonna lay it tonight. And you already know how I feel about double-digit spreads, but I'm following the patterns, and I'm thinking that the Bucks were supposed to blow them out last game. It didn't happen. It's happening tonight. A player prop that I do also like in this game is Damian Lillard over 26.5 points tonight. In all 3 matchups this season, first game 34, second time 32, last time 45. He's gone over 30 in every game. I think tonight, bounce back game for them to cover the spread tonight. Damian goes over 26.5. Bucks money line, Bucks minus the 12.5. If you want to tease the Bucks down to maybe minus 7.5, minus 8.5, go with that to play it safe. Either way, it's the Bucks tonight. Next game up, we got the Cleveland Cavaliers playing in Orlando against the Magic. Magic on the back end of a back-to-back. They played last night against the Heat. They blew the doors off the Heat last night. They're not traveling. They're staying in Orlando. Franz Wagner is back in the lineup, so that's good news for the Magic. They're giving the Magic three points at home today, which is a little crazy to me because they are one of the best ATS teams in the entire league. They're 13-5 against the spread at home. I mean, they ball at home. Orlando's a good team. And now Franz is back. This seems like a spot to take the Magic plus the 3.5. I'm not mad at you if you do take the Magic plus the 3.5. But on the back end of a back-to-back, I'm going to roll with Cleveland and Donovan Mitchell coming into Orlando tonight and getting it done. Probably just going to roll with the Cleveland money line might not lay the points because, like I said, I'm not mad at you if you do lay the Magic plus the 3 points, or maybe the Magic by a few points, maybe plus 5.5 or plus 6, something like that. But ultimately, I think this is a spot for the Cavs to come in here tonight, and they might just get it done tonight against the Magic. I don't love this game. I think it is a coin toss game. It can go either way. But if I'm going to bet it, the smart bet is probably the Magic with the points. But on the back end of it, back-to-back, I'm probably going to roll with the Cavs money line tonight. So give me the Cavs money line. A player prop that I do like in this game is Paolo Banchero over 21.5, or you can just take it for 20-plus points. He's been hitting it in every game pretty much. He's been a consistent bucket. And yeah, that's what I have. Cleveland money line tonight. Next game up, we got the San Antonio Spurs playing in Philadelphia against the 76ers. 76ers at home tonight. You already know what it is. 14 points is a lot of points, though. That's a shit ton of points. I'm not comfortable laying 14. Should the Sixers blow the doors off of the Spurs tonight? Yeah, they should. But it's the first time Wemby and Embiid are going to be going up against each other. First time we saw Wemby go up against Giannis. He played a hell of a game, kept it close. It was a good game. Bucks ended up winning, but it was a hell of a game, and Wemby came out and played. It's like he had something to prove. He was going up against someone like himself, or who he portrays himself to be in the future, someone similar style of play against a champion like Giannis, and he kept it close. He battled it out. He had a good game. I'm expecting something like that again tonight against Embiid, but Embiid is just, Embiid is Embiid. He's a force to be reckoned with. So maybe not. Maybe he just bullies Wembanyama tonight, but I don't think so. I think Wemby's coming out to play tonight. The Spurs are young. I know they're not very good. He's about all they got going for him. But if you want to lay the 14 with the Sixers, I'm not mad at that. I can see that happening. I can see the Spurs getting rolled out. I probably tease this game down, maybe 9.5, maybe 8.5 if I could. I know it's a lot, but you probably get it at like minus 250 or something like that if you're going to roll with it on a parlay. As far as a single play, though, Sixers should roll them out of the gym. So I guess if you want to lay the 14, I'm just not comfortable laying those big spreads like that in this type of spot where Wemby might come out and try and really show something, try and prove himself to the former MVP. But ultimately, the Sixers do win this game today. Sixers on the money line is not going to pay anything. So I would just tease the points down on the 14 if you're not comfortable laying the 14 with the Sixers. Next game up, we got the Memphis Grizzlies playing the Toronto Raptors in Toronto. Toronto on a bounce-back game. We saw they just went to New York the other day, and they lost to New York Knicks. Thought it was going to be one of those games where, it was going to be more competitive, being that the trade went down between those two teams, seeing them play against each other, against their old teams. But the Knicks ultimately got the best of the Raptors. Raptors going back to Toronto, where we know they play their best basketball. Toronto does hoop at home. Toronto at home, well, they're a 50-50 team, actually. They're 10-10 against the spread at home. They're 10-10 against the spread on the road. They're 20-20-1 against the spread for the season. So they are a complete 50-50 team when it comes to covering spreads. They're laying 7 points tonight against the Grizzlies, who we know the Grizzlies are riddled with injuries, but somehow they've been keeping games close. I mean, look at the injury list for the Memphis Grizzlies. The list is longer than a Monday. It's longer than today is going to be. Xavier Tillman, game time decision. Desmond Bane, he's out. Brandon Clark, out. Derrick Rose out. Marcus Smart out. John Morant obviously out for the season. Steven Adams out for the season. I mean, they've got like 8 injuries. They're bringing guys up from the G League right now. And surprisingly, they're keeping games close. They're fighting in every game. And I think that's because people don't understand that these guys come up from the G League and it's like, I got my shot now. So these guys are fucking balling to try and stay on the team, to try and get a contract. So sometimes it's like, yeah, these guys, these no-name guys come up from the G League. We should just be blowing these guys out, right? But no, these guys are the hungriest in the league because they want a job. So I guess that's why Memphis has been keeping games close. And Memphis does play better on the road than they do at home. Memphis on the road against the spread currently sit at 12-9 against the spread on the road. So they're a better cover team on the road, and the Raptors are a 50-50 cover team at home. So if it's a coin toss on if the Raptors are going to cover against the better cover team on the road, the Grizzlies plus the 7 is probably not a bad play, but the Raptors win this game tonight. Raptors on the money line for sure. I can't see the Raptors losing at home. They got the entire country behind them. The whole city of Toronto goes crazy for the Raptors. They're going back home tonight on a bounce-back game. I do think the Grizzlies will keep the game close. They have been, as we've seen. They've kept games close against better teams. So I do think the Grizzlies keep the game close, but I think the Raptors ultimately win this game tonight. So I'm going to roll with the Raptors money line. If you want to take the Grizzlies plus the 7 points, you can roll with the Grizzlies plus the 7 points. Maybe you want to buy 2 or 3 points, maybe Grizzlies plus 10 or Grizzlies plus 9.5. I ain't mad at that. Next game up, we got the Charlotte Hornets going to Minnesota, playing against the Timberwolves. Timberwolves also on a bounce back game for them. Timberwolves playing at home where they play their best basketball. They played their last game at home against the Oklahoma City Thunder, and the Thunder beat them at home. We did take the Thunder that day to beat the number 1 team in the West. And like I've been telling you guys all season long, I think Oklahoma City is a top 3 team in the entire league. I think they're number 1 or possibly number 2 in the West. I think Denver and OKC, to me, are the 2 best teams in the West. Joker and SGA are just playing on another level this season. And the Timberwolves have been hooping. I mean, they're in first place for a reason in the West. The Timberwolves have been hooping. Anthony Edwards is great. He missed those 3 free throws the other night, which was really, really shocking to see. Had a chance to send the game to overtime. Really, really shocking to see that happen in a guy like him. But tonight, Timberwolves on a bounce-back game after losing that last game to OKC. They're staying at home where they're comfortable, where they play their best basketball. Minnesota is 10-7 against the spread at home. They're a good cover team at home. We've seen Minnesota blow teams out. They're playing Charlotte tonight, where Charlotte, we already know, one of the worst teams in the league. Bottom 5 team in the league. Timberwolves, second best team in the league right now currently. So it's the Timberwolves all day for me tonight. Again, though, it is a 14-point spread. Not comfortable laying 14-point spread. But, I mean, we laid it the other night against the Grizzlies. They covered against the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies were actually winning that game the entire game until the fourth quarter. Timberwolves did what they do, and they pulled away and ended up covering the spread and won by 15. I kind of see that happening again tonight. I can see the Hornets kind of fucking fighting through maybe the first half of the game, and then ultimately the Timberwolves just pull away with this game late in the game. So give me the Timberwolves minus the 14. If you want to tease this down, maybe 9.5, 10, tease that down. But ultimately, it's the Timberwolves money line, Timberwolves minus the 14, Timberwolves minus the 10, whatever you wanted to do, it's the Timberwolves tonight. Next game up, best game of the night, it's going to be the Celtics playing against Dallas in Dallas. Got Tatum, Brown, Porzingis, Holiday, Derek White, Al Horford versus Luka, Kyrie, Tim Hardaway. This is the thing, though. The Celtics are on the back end of a back-to-back. They played last night against Houston. They didn't have to travel too far, going from Houston to Dallas, but they are on the back end of a back-to-back. And we know that the Boston Celtics don't play their best basketball on the road. They're not the best cover team on the road. They didn't even cover last night against the Rockets. So now they lost 2 games ago to Denver in Boston, got their first loss at home. Then they went on the road yesterday. They played Houston in Houston. They won, but they didn't cover the spread. Now they got to play tonight against a better Mavericks team in Dallas. They got to go see Luka and Kyrie tonight on the back-to-back. Do I think the Celtics are the better team? Absolutely. Celtics have way more. They're a lot deeper. They play better defense. I think the Celtics are the better team. I think the Celtics are the best team in the entire NBA right now currently, which they are by record. And I think that's what it is. But on the back end of a back-to-back, on a team that doesn't cover spreads regularly, this spot is telling me that I should take the Mavericks plus the 3.5. I'm probably going to roll with the Mavericks plus the 3.5. I might even buy a few points, plus 5.5, plus 6.5, maybe even plus 7.5. Because the Celtics money line, I can see the Celtics winning the game and the Mavericks keeping it very close because Celtics don't cover on the road. So maybe they win, maybe they do cover the 3.5, the Celtics, but will they cover a 6.5 spread? Will they cover a 7.5 spread? I mean, they barely beat the Rockets last night in Houston. So I think that this is a spot where the Mavericks could possibly even win straight up. If you wanted to sprinkle something on the money line on a separate ticket for the Mavericks straight up. But ultimately, I think I'm going to go with the Mavericks plus the 3.5. maybe the Celtics money line, maybe by the Mavericks points up a little bit. But that's what I got for that game. Next game up, we got the Chicago Bulls playing in Phoenix against the Suns. Suns on the back end of the back-to-back. They played last night, and they played against the Pacers. They did win the game. I told you guys Suns were going to win on the money line, but I told you guys that the Pacers would probably cover, and they did cover the 7.5. They lost by 7. And the Suns are like another team where they have all the potential, but I just haven't believed in them yet. They are starting to win basketball games, though. They won 5 in a row or 6 in a row now, so they are starting to win. But they're on the back end of it back-to-back, and the Suns are probably the second worst cover team in the league. I think they're the second worst cover team in the league behind Atlanta. Their ATS at home is 7-16. They didn't cover last night. Oh, no, they did. They covered the 5.5. I'm sorry, they did cover the 5.5 last night. I teased it up to 7.5. I told you guys yesterday on the show to tease it up to 7.5, and they didn't cover the 7.5. They covered the 5.5. Tonight, it's at 5.5 again. 7-16 against the spread. Barely covered last night. They're on a back end of a back-to-back tonight, playing against the Bulls, who you guys know that I don't like betting the Bulls on the road. I don't like betting Chicago on the road because their ATS on the road is 8-11. But they're a better ATS team on the road than Phoenix is at home. And I think they actually match up pretty well with the Suns. Kobe White has been playing really, really good basketball. DeMar DeRozan is playing really good basketball. Vucevic and Nurkic will match up pretty well. I think that this is a spot where this is a coin toss game to me as well. I don't like betting the Bulls on the road. You guys know that. And I don't really like betting on the Suns to cover any type of spread either. So this is a coin toss game to me. But I'll probably roll with the home team. Kevin Durant and them, Devin Booker. Suns on the money line. I don't mind the Bulls plus the 5.5, or maybe teasing the Bulls up to like 8.5, 9.5. But ultimately, I think the Suns win. I think there is even a possibility that the Bulls could even actually win this game. I'm not going to bet on the Bulls on the road to win. Maybe I bet the Bulls plus the points or the Suns money line straight up. I can't bet on the Suns to cover on the back end of a back-to-back. So I probably lean more towards the Bulls, teasing the points up a little bit like I did last night with the Pacers. It's at 5.5. I might tease it up to 7.5 or 8.5 for the Bulls tonight, or just take the Suns money line. It's kind of like a spot that I see them in again as they were in last night. So yeah, that's what I got for that game. Last game of the night. I'm going to try and make it as quick and easy as I possibly can. We got the Atlanta Hawks playing against the Sacramento Kings in Sacramento. I mean the Queens. They are still Queens. They are 1-5 over their last 6 games. They lost their last 4 in a row. They are in desperate need of a win. And if they can't get it done tonight against the Hawks, this will be my last time betting on the Kings this season. The Hawks, we already know, the worst cover team in the league. Worst cover team in the league. They're 6-15 against the spread on the road, 4-15 against the spread at home. They've covered in 10 games. They're 10-30. They've covered in 10 games out of 40 games this season. Okay? No Trae Young tonight. I know DeJounte Murray's been holding it down. He got 2 back-to-back game winners. That high that they're on is about to come down tonight when they got to go see De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis tonight in Sacramento. All right? We saw when these two teams matched up earlier this season. They played in Atlanta. Actually, not too long ago, they played in Atlanta on – what day was that? Yeah, they played on the 29th of December, right before the New Year. And the Kings beat them by 7 in Atlanta. And Trae Young was playing that game. So, yeah, this is, to me, this is a spot for the Kings tonight. Kings money line. If you want to take the Kings minus the 8, you can go for it. It's kind of steep, if you ask me. I don't trust the Kings yet to cover that kind of a spread. Maybe you tease it down. I would cut it in half, maybe 5.5, maybe 4.5, or just roll with the Kings money line straight up. But that's what I got for you guys today. Got a nice 8-game slate. Looking to keep the ball rolling today. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Pay attention for the comment for any updates later. Follow on X for any updates posted on there later. And let's win some money tonight. Tell me, don't fail me.